Is the OSR dying? Not as long as Greyhawk's around. I'll explain today on Greyhawk Grognard. Just as a reminder, this is a collaboration video with Joe the lawyer and Eric Tankar of Tankar's Tavern. If you're watching my video on their channels, please do like and subscribe to me. And if you're going to watch one of their videos on my channel, please do the same for them. Now, on to the show. The usual suspects are going on about how the OSR is dying or is dead or whatever. And I just felt I needed to throw my hat in the ring. And I don't define the OSR by publishers. Let's put that out there first. I think the OSR is first and foremost about hobbyists, about players and GMs, and the games that they play and the way that they play. Yes, of course there are OSR publishers. I'm one of them, but I don't particularly define the health of the OSR by the health of the publishers, because I think it's much more about the players and much more about the GMs. Now, that said, I would argue that the OSR is really healthy in the Greyhawk community. I'm going to focus on on what I know the best. I'm sure that Joe and Eric are going to take a broader view, and that's exactly why we do these collaborations, so we get different opinions and different perspectives. But from the perspective of a Greyhawk fan, of a lifelong Greyhawk fan, I think it is fair to say that as long as Greyhawk is still around, there will always be OSR play happening because Greyhawk invented it. Greyhawk is the OSR play template. It is hex crawls. It is megadungeons. It is regional play. And those three things, aside from rules, because rules are obviously a big component of it, because a big part of the OSR is what rules you play, and the older rules have a different feel and a different style than the newer rules. That's just a fact. And yes, you can use newer rules to play OSR style, but is that OSR? I'm not going to split that hair today. I'm going to be talking about how Greyhawk embodies the OSR style of play, and because of that, as long as Greyhawk is around, the OSR is going to be doing well. And the three things, that I just mentioned, they have hex crawls. The world of Greyhawk is a hex crawl. It is the hex crawl. You go out and you explore the different hexes. And there are different, and as you go, you either roll or the DM has the pre-selected things. But that was the style of play that was defined back in Lake Geneva in the early 70s, and that is the campaign that I'm playing today is that style of play, and that is built into the DNA of how you play the world of Greyhawk. That's why we have all those random encounter tables in the gold box. That's why we have all these things, is because Greyhawk is made for hex crawling, for going out to taking a piece of wilderness and making it your own, and building a fortress and so forth. When you get high enough level, like all the big characters did back in the day, you would go out and you'd pick a hex and you would explore it and you would build your castle there. That is one of the defining things of the OSR, and it's also one of the defining things of the world of Greyhawk. Same thing with mega dungeons. Obviously, you've got Castle Greyhawk, you've got Mori Castle, you've got Castle Blackmore in depending on how you want to handle that. Greyhawk is the home of the Mega Dungeon, and Mega Dungeon play is one of those things that is so built into the DNA of the OSR that you don't have to play in Mega Dungeons to be OSR, obviously, but it is one of those things that if it is one of those things that if you are playing in a Mega Dungeon, odds are you are playing an OSR game. And Greyhawk, by definition, is the place where the mega dungeon was birthed, and it is Blackmore again. Not gonna get into the details, but it is the place where you're going to find the mega dungeons, and that is what OSR play can be all about. And the other thing is the regional play, right? And I talked about this. I should say I will be talking about this in a video coming up. But Greyhawk is made for regional play because of the political structure of the campaign, right? You've got these nation states that have rivalries and histories with each other, and they are designed for that kind of regional play. So you can, if you're doing it right, a game set in the Great Kingdom is going to feel very, very different than a game set in Kaoland. Because they have different histories, they have different cultures, they have different feels, they have different conflicts, and all those things are going to express themselves differently. So if you're using the OSR as a regional play, like you're playing, you start off in the village and then you go out and out and out. If you do the bullseye method, then that is going to really feel at home in the world of Greyhawk. The most famous example, of course, is Hamlet and the Temple of Elemental Evil. You start in the village and you go out a ring and out a ring and out a ring, and eventually you're defining the whole campaign area. Because let's not forget, when Gary Gygax was setting up his Temple of Elemental Evil campaign, it was meant to be a side campaign, a side region, different and yet connected to the Castle Greyhawk and City of Greyhawk campaign region in his campaign. So, once again, it is built into the DNA of Greyhawk. And again, no, you do not have to play that way in the world of Greyhawk, obviously. But it is so structured around that sort of play that it feels very natural. And a lot of people who want to play that style are going to come to Greyhawk because it is built for that. It is in the chassis. Greyhawk is the chassis that supports that kind of play. And the same with Mega Dungeons, and the same with hex crawls. Does that mean you can't do a hex crawl outside of Greyhawk? Obviously not. Of course you can. But it does mean that Greyhawk is really built for these sorts of things. And that's why I think as long as Greyhawk is around, no matter what the rules are, you're going to have you're going to have a home for that OSR style of play. And that is why I think we are good to go as long as Greyhawk endures. All later. So that's what I got for today. Please do comment on my thesis here about OSR and Greyhawk. Are they made for each other, and do they support each other? Not exclusively, but I think they do. So let me know what you think in the comments. Hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll talk to you all. Thanks for watching today's video. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Below you'll find links to my Patreon, which helps make these videos possible. You'll also find the web store where you can buy my books, and my blog where you'll find all sorts of free downloads and other articles. Thanks, and have a great day.